Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in our new episode. So, just a quick recap. In our last episode, our last lesson, we talked about list, we talked about print working directory, we talked about changing directories, we talked about how everything is in the root folder and how root is not to be confused with /root. So, we very briefly covered that. We don't really know what anything is yet there. We learned how to make a file with touch. We learned how to make a directory. We learned how to remove files, remove directories. We learned how to forcibly remove things recursively. We learned how to completely nuke and obliterate our operating system, so that's pretty fun. Alright, so now let's get into the new material. Hope you're with me. If you're not, spin up your virtual machine and let's get your fingers typing. Now, let's go ahead and make a new directory on our desktop. So if we don't know if we're already in the desktop, we just do print working directory. We are not in the desktop, so we'll go cd desktop. Okay, list. We have nothing on the desktop. I deleted everything. So let's make a new folder, but let's make folders nested inside of folders. And one way to do that is doing make directory -p. And then we do not have to make all the folders separately. So now we type in the folders that we want. And now be careful, don't start it with / whatever your folder name is. Instead, just start with the folder name. So cool folder, child folder, subfolder. Alright, so list, we have cool folder. If we go list cool folder, we have child folder. If we have list cool folder, child folder, then we have subfolder. Cool stuff, right? So now we can go ahead and delete everything in this folder. And as you know, the rm command is not gonna delete it because it's directory. The rmdir command is also not going to delete it because the directory is not empty. So we could do the rm-r or -rf, which is force. And we can go ahead and delete that, which has deleted everything in the folder, all the subfolders, and it no longer exists in our current working directory. Now, okay, clear? Let's make a new folder again. So make dir, and we're going to put in cool folder because it's really cool. We're going to touch a file. It's going to be test.txt or textworks2, but actually I wanted it to write test. So there actually is not a rename command in Linux. You have to write move. So you're actually moving the file into another file instead of renaming it. It's kind of weird, but alright, so now we want to move the test.txt into cool folder. Alright, and then, so if I do ls, we just have the cool folder. If we do ls cool folder, we have that. Where are we again? We're in the desktop, okay, even though it shows right here. Let's say I want the test.txt to also be on my desktop, but also be in the cool folder. Well, I could do copy cool folder test.txt, and I can copy it to /home oxymonster desktop, or instead of writing all that out, I can type in dot. And now one dot like this in this context is our current directory that we are right now. So I'm copying this file to here. And again, that's syntax, right? I'm doing this to this into this output. Enter. So if I go list, we have text here. And if I go list cool folder, we have test there, the same file. So if I go into the cool folder, if I want to change my directory, I would do up. But the reason why there's 2 dots and not 1 is because if I do 1 dot, then I'm just changing my directory to the one that I'm already in. because 1 dot is your current directory, and 2 dots is the directory above yours. And what's 3 dots? It's nothing, doesn't matter. So it's just 1 dot or 2 dots. 1 dot is your current directory, which you'll never do cd dot because it doesn't do anything. So it's really the one you have to really remember is cd dot dot. But cd dot 2, that's the thing. So anyways, but if you want to go up 2 directories, let's say I wanted to go back to the cool folder, I could do cd dot dot slash dot dot, and that would bring me all the way from cool folder into desktop and into the home and my user directory. So now if I went back again, cd cool folder, it doesn't exist because I have to specify desktop. Where am I? Print working directory, list. cd desktop, cool folder. Alright, and if I do cd dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot, then this brings me all the way home. And if I go cd oxymonster desktop cool folder, if I go cd dot dot dash dot dot dash dot dot slash dot dot, this brings me all the way to the root directory. So this is how you go up like multiple directories at once, you know. For 1 directory up, you just do dot dot. For 2 directories, you go dot dot slash dot dot. And then for 3 directories, you go dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot. 4 directories, dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot slash dot dot. And then, you know, 5 directories, just more. You get the idea. It's just like never ending. If I had like 20 directories deep, this would just go on for a very long time. So, and now we can go back to our home by doing cd home oxymonster, or we could just do tilde, and then we can go back to cd desktop. And then what else? So back we did ls, and as you know, let's go to ls documents and everything. So ls-a, that shows all of the hidden files, as you saw. We can go ahead and remove .kl. We don't need that one anymore. So, alright, ls-a. Then we have ls-al, and al puts it into a list format, and it shows you a lot of things. We have some information here that we'll get into soon. One thing, this number here, this is the size in bytes. So this is 4,096 bytes. Now there's another one, which is h, which is human readable. The only difference between these two is the way that the bytes is displayed. So this is not 4,096 bytes, it's 4 kilobytes. And now that's not a huge issue right now, but once you get into bigger applications that might be like megabytes big or even a gigabyte, then that's going to be a huge number, and it's going to be a lot harder to decipher whether or not that's a megabyte or a gigabyte when there's so many numbers beside each other. So that's why you would put in human readable, because, well, it's human readable because we're not totally robots, right? So let's go back into our desktop. We can print working directory, verify where we are, list. We have a couple files here. Let's do cat to view the contents of test. It's test.txt, and there's nothing in it. Alright, so let's go back into list and go ahead and type in cat to the test.txt, and there's going to be nothing in there. And now the only way to edit this file is using this program, which is called gedit. And that's just the editing tool, like the text editor that comes default with Ubuntu Linux. But we don't want to edit it through here, we want to edit it through the command line because we're trying to get good at Linux, right? So there's a couple tools here that can help us edit. The first one is Nano. The second one is VI or Vim. The third one is Emacs. Now I'm going to write these all out for you here. Alright, so here are the 3 tools, and I would encourage you to do a little bit of research on each one and what their functionalities are. So they're all just text editors, essentially. But you know, if I were to do nano, I could type in test.txt to edit an existing file, or I can type in an entirely new file. It's like new file.txt. And here I can press I for insert to start my typing mode, and I could type in this file rules written in nano. Now in order to get out of nano, there's a kind of like a legend down here, and the little up arrow, like the little house or roof or whatever you want to call it, is a control. So here's exit. To hold down to exit, you have to hold down control and press X, and then you could just type in WQ for write and quit, or you can just type in Q and exclamation mark to force quit. And then the other one is VI, and we can do vi.newfile1.txt. Same thing, press I for insert. Then we can do this file was written in Vim or VI. And then we can do escape and colon WQ or Q exclamation mark to just quit. But hold on, if you do that though, you'll notice that it didn't save. So you actually have to do WQ to save it. So this was written in VI. Escape, semicolon, WQ to write and quit. And then the other one is Emacs, but Emacs does not come pre-installed on Linux, so it's a third-party, like after software. So in order to install Emacs, you would have to go sudo apt-get Emacs, and it would ask you for your password because you're using a sudo command. Invalid operation Emacs. Okay, so I'm gonna Google it because I don't have this memorized. And you can go to gnu.org. And I forgot install, so I almost had the command right. System problem detected, but did it work? Alright, so it's not working. It looks like I got an error trying to install it, so we can get back to this in a different video. It doesn't really matter right now. I'm trying to just show you some different text editors that you can use. Either way, Vim or VI is really a great text editor that you can use, and Nano is a great one to start off with. It's very simple. I know a lot of people like Emacs, and it's great as well. It's a bit more complicated, so either way we'll just stick with VI or Vim for now. Maybe next video we'll figure out why. System problem detected. So what's the problem? Who's pwning me? But either way, Nano and VI or Vim, which is kind of the same thing, I think. These are great if you're trying to become a sysadmin or just doing cybersecurity, kind of like, infrastructure, maintenance, troubleshooting kind of stuff. So these are great for that. Emacs is really great, and it has a lot of functionality if you're kind of like developing or doing a lot of coding, looking at a lot of text files and like sifting through a lot of code all the time. debugging a lot. Emacs is really a great playground for people who are more into that, and you know, it really pays off if you learn how to use it, and if you learn how to use Vim as well. Like, the learning curves are pretty big, but once you get it down, you'll provide a lot of value to companies, and that's a very desirable skill. The best one to start out with, like the easiest one to use and to learn, is Nano, because there aren't really any modes to it. There aren't any different typing modes. There are shortcuts, or there are macros at the bottom, you know, kind of like helping you see what your options are. So, you know, you could type in Control G to get help, and it shows you all these different things. You can do Control X to close, Control, you know, all these different options. So it's really easy to use. You don't have to like remember all these different kind of things. Do exit. You can just type in Y, file name, hit enter. So it's a really straightforward program to use, and it really doesn't matter if you want to use that for now. You know, it's a good way to get started. So anyways, let's do clear, and let's check out a couple of the files that we've seen, and we can do, oh wow, okay, I was using Nano, and I was doing the -q, and that's a Vim thing. You don't do that in Nano, so I guess I renamed the file to -q. So we can go ahead and remove the -q. We can remove this crazy file name that I made. Wow, okay. .txt -q. Oh. What a name I gave that. Okay. Yeah, so cat new file 1.txt. And I can see that that was written in VI. I could do cat test.txt, cat i.txt, talking about the macros. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this lesson, and I hope you found some value, and I'll see you guys on the next lesson.